Well, thank you, David, for getting us off to such a good start.
Yeah.
Listen, there are a number of candidates, at least 2 or 3 for Flames MVP this season, but the winner tonight is Mike Smith because he's the one with us. So see how it works in this program, right?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Welcome, Mike. You stopped 2 breakaways in the second period. It's a mercy pull really after 2 with the score of 5-1. What were you thinking when it got to 6-5 in the third?
I honestly don't look at it like that. I think you win and lose as a team, and I think tonight the third goal was a backbreaker for us, and I think it was the one that I probably should have had. And I feel like that was a big turning point in the game. So I think I wasn't my best tonight, that's for sure. And obviously we weren't as a team, but obviously it was nice to see the pushback in the third.
Yes.
Well, that third goal was a Jujhar Khaira. I mean, it was right in the slot, a point-blank chance, and yet you still think you have it. But what's the message in that room? Because you guys should have been better tonight on a Saturday night, the Battle of Alberta, in a game that you really could have sent a message.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did a lot of good things last game that we wanted to build on, and tonight we came out and we were flat, to be honest. We were flat, we were on our heels, and we need to grow from games that we do things well in, and tonight we didn't. And just because we scored 4 or 5 goals in the third there doesn't mean we should come into that game feeling good about ourselves. I think we need to learn a lot about ourselves and the way we came out in the start of that game, and push forward.
Okay, Mike, we move on. And in the time we have tonight, we cannot detail every stop of your career, but suffice to say that as a 5th-round draft pick in 01 by the Dallas Stars, you were not handed anything. Spent the first 5 years of your career in the minors, and now here you are, an elite goaltender in a hockey-crazed market like Calgary. Just a quick thought on the journey. What's it been like?
It's been a heck of a ride, for sure. I think, I didn't even think I was going to be drafted to the NHL, and to be drafted by Dallas and have the opportunity to play there for a year and a half, and then playing in Tampa with some unbelievable players, and some of my best friends are guys that I've played with in Tampa, and obviously my time in Arizona kind of got my career on track, and then whirlwind to come to Calgary and to play in front of such amazing fans and a great organization is kind of a blessing in disguise.
So you can't go anywhere in Calgary, obviously, without being recognized, and it was exactly the opposite in Arizona, where the Coyotes, for the most part, are in the witness protection program, except perhaps for you and Shane Doan. And in fact, Mike, you were a pitchman in Arizona.
Pizza for Mike Smith.
Thank you. I love it when we win. And now it's even better because the next day it's half off at papajohns.com.
You get so busy, you need me to help out. Good evening, Papa John's.
Okay, so we get the point now, Mike. That's some fine acting there. How many commercial opportunities have you had to turn down in Calgary?
Zero. I think they saw my acting there, and they said, we're not going with this guy. So.
I didn't even recognize your hair. You had no hair, no beard or anything.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Just before the Dallas game, when you guys were on the road, you spoke out publicly for the first time, saying the team kind of needs to go a little bit more north-south rather than east-west. And you're kind of exactly what that dressing room needs, because Mark Giordano's a lead-by-example guy, and it's a bit more of a quieter room. At what point did you feel comfortable being a vocal leader in that room?
Well, I think it starts with your game, your game on the ice, and if you're not playing well, you're probably not the first one that should be speaking up in the room. And I think it takes time to get used to the players and how they react to certain times in the year when you can voice your opinion. But obviously Gio's an unbelievable leader on our team, and everyone has a lot of respect when he talks and says stuff. And I think you nailed it. I think he's a leader by example on the ice. He wears his heart on his sleeve on the ice, and I feel like through the course of the year, a different voice is nice to hear in the locker room, and I feel like I've been around a long time and have seen leaders come and go, and have learned a lot from them, and I think there's times in the season when you do need to step up and say stuff, and hopefully the team reacts in the right way.
Mike, let's get a tweet in here. This is from Corey Mossing. He asks, how many times in your life have you met another Mike Smith?
Quite a few. Quite a few. I think I had 3 or 4 in my high school, in Sydenham High School growing up. And whenever people ask me my name and I tell them, they look at me like I have 3 heads. Like Mike Smith, really? Like, okay, you're probably not, But
And you're on a team of 5 mics as well.
yeah, I know. We got a lot of mics. So if someone says Mike in the room, everyone's like looking around, like who?
But Mike Smith, you know Bubbles on the Trailer Park
Yes,
Boys?
I do know him.
He's Mike Smith,
Yeah.
right? Mike
Yeah.
Smith, the decathlete, works for us at CBC Sports. What's the worst case of mistaken identity of Mike Smith for you?
I think there's a jockey too. That's Mike Smith.
Yes,
he's,
you're right,
He's a
yeah.
little guy, so that'd be a little different if I got compared to him.
I don't think you would.
You are far more than a blocker of shots. You'll do anything to stop the puck, and I think the acrobatic, unbelievable save really has become something of your calling card. We're going to take a look now at 3 of those that left everyone, the shooters most of all, shaking their heads. So in order, it's this one on Pavel Datsyuk on his signature move. Then we'll see a great glove save by you on Jordan Eberle last January, and then a stop on Marian Gaborik on the penalty shot. A miracle save 5 years ago. I look at these saves, Mike, and I think you should really be in Cirque du Soleil. Where does the flexibility, the limberness that would leave most people in an ice tub, especially at your age of 35, where does it come from?
I have no idea. My mother's side, I'm sure, but you know, you get put in certain situations as a goaltender, and you just, you know, I'm a battler. I don't like to get scored on, and I think this one here, I mean, all 3 of these, they beat me, and you just want to, you know, throw something that you hopefully get a piece of, and those ones there were cases like that.
Which one did you like best?
I like that one. The last one.
The
there.
last
Yeah,
one.
New
On
York.
Gaborik.
Yeah.
Half your body was facing one way, and the other half went the other way. I mean,
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool one there.
Your first pro game, October 26th, 02, with the Lexington Men of War in the East Coast League. You were playing the Dayton Bombers, and we'll let you take us through this history-making moment here.
This is actually my first pro win, so I can't believe you guys found this footage on the VHS, but yeah, ended up, you know, puck came around the boards there, and that was my first. It was 1-0 in the game, if I can remember correctly, and I hadn't won a pro game yet, so I got the win, the shutout, and scored a goal. So I guess that's kind of like a Gordie Howe hat trick for a goalie.
You were 20 years old at the time, and I think you became the youngest goaltender ever to score in a pro game.
I didn't know that, but yeah, I guess yeah, I was.
See, we
I
break
was, I
all
was,
kinds of
I
news
was
on this
young. If
program.
you saw my face in that one, you wouldn't recognize me either.
Okay, then 11 years later, October of 13. Let's watch and listen.
Over here to Samuelson. So the Red Wings' 4-game winning streak comes to a close as Smith shoots it toward the empty net. It's got time to go. It may count.
How about that? So, Mike, I've done the math. It's now been 4 years since you scored. How do you explain the slump?
I'm due then, eh? Yeah, so if other guys gone through something like that, it'd be pretty tough. But my job's to stop it, obviously. But it's pretty cool to score one too.
Let's get another tweet in here. This is from Eric Marwick. On off nights, how closely do you watch other goalies, and which ones do you observe the most?
All the time. I think I'm a guy that likes to go home and kind of watch the highlights and watch you guys talk and listen to what you guys have to say about other goalies. But yeah, I usually watch, you know, all the goals and learn a lot from, you know, from other goalies throughout the league. But you know, Carey Price and Braden Holtby, and I think everyone's a little bit different. So I think you try and take pieces of every goalie and add them to your game and see if you can, you know, improve on it. Hey, buddy.
This is
And
This is Ajax.
Ajax.
This is a boy too, Scott.
yeah.
we're going to get to that.
Hey, bud. Look at.
Three girls and a boy.
Ajax, and
Nixon.
Nixon, and Kingsley.
And Kingsley. Yeah.
Okay. Brian Burke, how you doing?
Good.
What did you think of the game?
Good.
You wish for a different result, I know. Good to have you on the show.
Yes.
You're a good-looking young man. You want to hold that? Okay. Mike, Brian Burke says you have been the Flames' most valuable player this season, largely because of your puck handling ability. He says that it's led to the Calgary Flames defenseman taking 100 less hits. So tell me honestly, another one. They just keep coming.
This is the little girl. This is Nixon.
Hi, Nixon.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. As I said a minute ago, we'll get to that. So tell me honestly, when you have the puck around the net, and I think this is true, you're thinking, I could rush this to the blue line and maybe to center ice if I wanted to, but I won't.
I mean, I would like to sometimes, but I think, you know, just as the puck handling's evolved and I, you know, improved on it drastically since I started playing it in Dallas with Marty Turco. And I think because I'm talking into it. Yeah. And so, you know, I really take pride in what I can do with the puck, and I really believe it helps our defense out, helps the forwards, you know. And it gets us playing in the fun zone, so to speak, in the offensive zone quicker. So I think I really take a lot of pride in the puck handling part of it.
Edge work, Cassie.
Yeah, one of the big reasons, you and I talked about this earlier in the season, is your ability to get out of the net, get your feet up ice so quickly. And you were telling me a great story about how you went to John Elkins Hockey School in Toronto, and he became your goalie coach in Arizona. And just, this is from warm-up. So we do have some kind of edge work, footwork that you like to do in the warm-up. But just how important is it for you to be one of the better skaters out there?
Yeah, you know what? I give a lot of credit to my coaches in minor hockey in Kingston, actually, where they made me skate as well as the players. So I think, you're doing circles, back in the day when you're doing circles and you're going across the blue line and stuff like that, and the goalies always had to skate with the team. So I think...
What kind of edge work
is
is that?
Oh my
And
goodness, what
fitness.
is that? Thanks, Cassie, for bringing that up.
Yes, there's a
No, there's a
picture.
point to this picture.
And because you have 6% body fat, and I know that because you told me that this
Oh,
morning.
thanks.
But your fitness aspect of a goaltender, it's fair to say there's probably not too many that have a 6% body fat, but it is important to you.
I think when you chase 4 kids around, it lowers and lowers every day.
Yeah.
But you definitely don't get muscles without carrying your kids around, so I think it helps.
And you were saying 6% is the highest you've ever been, which is amazing.
I think when I first came in the league, I was a lot lower, but I went into camp, and I think JJ was the strength coach at the time, and he's like, "You need a couple burgers in you or something." So, no, it's a big part of who I am and what I believe in, and I train with Gary Roberts in the summer, and I really have a lot of respect for what he does and with the career he had and his ups and downs that he went through. But I really feel like that's an important part of being a professional athlete.
Okay, you had your entire family with you in Los Angeles at the All-Star Game last January, and it is, as we can see, a beautiful family. You, Brigitte, Axel, Ajax, Nixon, and Kingsley. And I am not above, Mike, being corrected on network TV.
Here it is.
There's 4 in the brood. Here are 3 of them. Make the introductions.
Yeah, Axel, Ajax, and the little guy Nixon there. My wife's probably got the baby Kingsley up there, and everyone's probably had a great afternoon.
Thank you, Mike. The kids need your attention. I think she wants you to open that chocolate bar for her.
Not to him. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
You couldn't let it go, could you?
I could.
Okay.
Why are we watching that?
Yeah, you remember that?
That was you at the All-Star Game last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a much bigger boy now. Mike, for as frustrated as you might have been being Marty Turco's backup, going to his golf tournament in '06 really paid off for you. Paid off nicely. Cassie's done the research here.
Well, that's where you met Brigitte, your wife,
It is.
right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I harassed her all day because I was playing in the group behind her, and it was one of those 7-hour rounds of golf that is a lot of fun. Lasts a long time, but she fell for it. So here we are today.
So that is, she told me you're so competitive that you challenged a teammate in Arizona to grow the longest beard, and then that is Axel getting an opportunity to shave it off, which is crazy in itself.
That is, yeah. I got challenged to Max Domi and Jamie McGinn. We had a little wager who could grow the beard the longest, and I actually won, and I still owed a lot of money.
Sure, you can hold it.
And there's the whole family, and I think that's at her parents' house.
That's in Sault Ste. Marie on the St. Mary's River, up in Lake Superior. So a really nice spot in the summertime.
And that previous picture was the first time the kids had seen you in a Flames uniform, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. The Flames were kind enough to send us some jerseys and hats
You
and
should
stuff
take that,
in the
Aaron.
summer. So
A little bit of noisy. There you go.
they were pretty shocked at first when I told them I'm going to be a Flames, but now they're pretty excited.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike, we've got my favorite pick from your wedding day here.
Oh, great.
It's coming. There it is. Oh, wait. That might be Halloween. I think we got them mixed up. I think we actually, there you go.
There it is.
Brigitte was a world-class athlete, a member of Canada's alpine ski team, veteran of 2 Olympics, 06 Turin, 2010 Vancouver. So she knows what it takes to get ready, and part of getting ready as a NHL player is that afternoon nap. How, in the name of heavens, does Brigitte, former world-class athlete, marshal the brood while you repose? And who could blame her if on some days she wanted to smother you?
Well, fortunately for her and for the rest of the family, the 2 boys here are in school most days, so she gets a break from them. But she knows what it's like to be a professional athlete, let's just put it that way, and the preparation that goes into it. So I'm fortunate for that.
All right, Mike Smith, our guest on After Hours. More on family and music when we come back to Scotiabank Saddledome in Calgary. Back with you at Scotiabank Saddledome as we continue with After Hours and our guest, Olympic gold medalist Mike Smith. By the way, the boys, Axel, Ajax, and Nixon are dropping in and out. What do you think when you see that picture?
Oh, it all comes back to me. I think it was an amazing experience. Obviously, I didn't have a big part in the on ice play, but just to be a part of the Olympic experience and to win a gold medal with such an amazing group of guys was something I'll never forget.
Calgary appealed to you and Brigitte because she spent a lot of time training here and she has family in the area. Elle is your niece. She is the daughter of Brigitte's sister and they live in Canmore. She won the hearts of everyone, Elle did, in this building last month when she marched onto the ice as part of Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Tell us Elle's story.
Just a beautiful little girl. I think she's battling leukemia, and she got diagnosed, I think, when she was around 18 months. And to see her run out on the ice that night was pretty special, and I was so proud of her. Just a courageous little girl, and she's always in our thoughts for sure.
She turns 4 next month. 1 or 2 treatments left?
Yeah, 2 treatments left. She gets her port out soon, and like I said, we're thinking about her all the time and praying for her. But we're so fortunate to be close to her now, and to be able to see her and to be able to, her to get to know her cousins and stuff like that. So, like I said, just to be close now is a blessing, and just a strong little girl.
So being close to family is just another reason it's all working out for you in Calgary. Your love of music now leads us to the guitar and the one that Garth Brooks gave you. Tell us that story.
Yeah, just Garth does his Teammates for Kids charity, and I got involved in it in my first year in Dallas, and I like to dabble on the guitar from time to time. Obviously, with 4 kids now, it's a little more difficult to play, but he did a little private concert for us in Dallas, and I asked him for his guitar, and he's like, well, I can't give you this one. This is a pretty special one, but he's like, I can send one in the mail for you. And I think 2 or 3 days later, I had a guitar, Garth Brooks signature guitar sent to me, and he didn't sign it. He said if I signed it, you wouldn't play it. So to this day, it's still not signed, but he did sign a cowboy hat for me, and I got that in my office at home.
So we like to take chances on the show, and we have a guitar. Aaron, could you get it?
Yeah.
No.
Can you play for us?
No, there's no guitar here.
No,
No, there's not. It's a joke.
No,
It's a
that's
joke.
good.
I don't play in front of people,
Yeah.
and I especially don't sing in front of people.
Okay. Being from Kingston, you clearly grew up on the music of the Tragically Hip. How close did you follow their farewell tour?
I actually got to the last show, and my wife gave birth to our 4th kid. I think it was 5 days before the show, and I was able to sneak away and get back to Kingston and watch that final show, and it was really special to be a part of, and an unbelievable performance, and just a courageous act by Gord and
Did you ever get to
the
meet
whole
him?
band. I did. I've met Gord a few times, and over the course of my life, and just being around Kingston and hockey, and how much they love hockey and the sport, and they're just, they're amazing artists, but even better people. And they remind me a lot of hockey players, because they're such good people and down to earth. And you think you're a rock star, you're in a different planet. But these guys are just unbelievable people to be around, and I'm fortunate to be able to know them.
All right, another tweet here. Being from Verona, which is more accurate than Kingston, right? But this is from Daniel B. Kingston. Your best round of golf at the Riverdale Golf Course.
Oh man, it can get you. I think my best round is 74 there. My buddies will probably call me out on that, but it's a good little golf course in my hometown.
True or false, at age 18, you had to make a decision between fastball and hockey?
Yeah, one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life. I love ball so much. Some of my best memories as a kid were going to the ball field with a great group of guys and coaching staff. And to this day, I give a lot of credit actually to my ball coach growing up, Greg Orr, and he really just, he really pushed fundamentals, and I really believe, that's a big reason why I really focus on the fundamentals of my game to this day. I really, have a lot of good memories going to the ballpark, taking ground ball after ground ball, and then getting in big games, and then we were one of the best
You were a
teams.
catcher, right?
I was, yeah, I was. But
So your quick glove hand in this game makes perfect sense.
no, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
it works hand in hand for sure.
Your team was 7-time Ontario champions, 2-time Canadian champions, so clearly it wouldn't have been an easy decision for you. So, Mike, I want to thank you for your time and thank the boys for
Yes.
dropping by. Mike Smith at the heart of the Flames' success this season and kind enough to spend some time with us in After Hours tonight. We'll be back to Scotiabank Saddledome to conclude the proceedings in a moment. Thanks again, Mike.
Thanks, guys.